Good evening, everyone. There we go. Third time's the charm. Good evening. Welcome to BCAN's 20th anniversary celebration. Tonight marks 20 years of impact on research, education, and support for bladder cancer patients and their families. My family is one of those families, so it's truly an honor to be here with you tonight. My name is Lauren Screeden. I work in broadcast as a reporter for the Chicago Bears. So although I speak for a living, tonight is one of the most meaningful speaking engagements I've ever had the honor of being part of. BCAN holds a very special place in my heart. And as I began writing these remarks, I realized that I've actually known about BCAN for all 20 years of its existence. My mom was diagnosed with bladder cancer in 2004. Early in her treatment, Dr. Gary Steinberg, who was at the University of Chicago at the time, encouraged her to reach out to Diane Qualley. Diane and her late husband, John, who was also a bladder cancer patient, had recognized something important, that despite a rapidly growing patient population, bladder cancer had very few resources available for patient advocacy, family support, and education. Most importantly, the disease lacked the attention, funding, and research momentum it desperately needed. So, at their kitchen table in 2005, Diane and John decided to change that. And look at what has grown from that moment. From two determined people at a kitchen table to an organization of 18 full-time staff and a reach that has touched millions of lives. Once my mom connected with Diane and learned about BCAN's mission and action plan, she was eager to join the team. She was honored to speak as a patient advocate at one of BCAN's early think tank meetings in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, an opportunity to share her experiences, her perspective, and her urgency with the experts who were and still are committed to conquering this disease. She later spoke about her walks with Diane outside of those meetings, discussing how certain she was that together they were creating real change. And she was right. They were then, and BCAN still is today. As my mom fought the good fight for 7 years, the connection to BCAN reinforced a powerful message, that bladder cancer patients and their families are never alone. Years later, after my mom passed away, a distant family member revealed that she too had been diagnosed with bladder cancer, this time at a very young age. But she said after visiting BCAN's website, she felt a wave of hope and reassurance. The resources, the community, the support, it all reminded her that she had a strong force behind her as she navigated this detour in her life. And today, she's cancer-free. Every person in this room tonight has been impacted by bladder cancer, a disease that I know firsthand can feel like it has taken so much. But what I've learned through my mom's journey and through BCAN's unwavering mission is that bladder cancer cannot take away connection. It cannot take away hope. And it cannot take away the determination of a community that stands shoulder to shoulder, patients, caregivers, researchers, and advocates fighting for better outcomes and one day a cure. As we celebrate 20 years of BCAN, let's honor the lives that have been impacted, the progress that has been made, and the promise that lies ahead. Together, we are not just raising awareness, we are rewriting the future of bladder cancer. Thank you for being here tonight, for being part of this fight, part of this family, and for showing the world that nobody faces bladder cancer alone. So before we start our programming, we would like to thank our corporate sponsors who helped make tonight possible. They include our signature sponsors, Johnson & Johnson, Merck, and Eurogen. Supporting sponsors, AstraZeneca, CG Oncology, Immunity Bio, and Lilly. Champion sponsors, the Johns Hopkins Greenberg Bladder Cancer Institute and PhotoCure. Thank you also to our generous individual sponsors who are too numerous to mention. As many of you know, BCAN is mission-focused but volunteer-led, and we would like to briefly recognize some of those who have given their time and talent over the last 20 years. Please hold your applause till the end, but I'd like to invite you to stand if you are a board member, a member of the Scientific Advisory Board, walk organizer or team captain, medical or research professional who has donated time to BCAN, chapter leader, other BCAN volunteer, survivor, patient, caregiver, a partner, sponsor, or vendor to BCAN. Let's give everyone standing a round of applause. Finally, we hope you like the flowers on each table. We ask that you leave them because courtesy of our wonderful volunteer, Lauren Gutenplan, they will be donated to the DC chapter of The Simple Sunflower, a nonprofit that repurposes wedding and event flowers for hospital patients at MedStar Georgetown Hospital. So with that, I'd like to introduce the person who needs no introduction tonight, BCAN's co-founder, Diane Zapersky-Qualley. And Diane is going to lead us in a toast.
I would like to invite the BCAN staff up here with me, along with Andrea Maddox-Smith, our now retired CEO, please. All of you, come on. We now have a staff of 18. There should be a lot of people up here with me. Come closer. Come next to me. Come next to me. Andrea and Mary Margaret, get over here. Get over here, girl. I am so proud of the work that BCAN has been doing for the last 20 years. And we have so much to be grateful for and thankful for, including this amazing staff that we have who work so hard to accomplish BCAN's mission. So please join me in a toast. I have a quote from Margaret Mead. "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has." To BCAN.
I hope everyone enjoyed their dinner and are continuing to enjoy dessert and coffee. Again, the bars are open on either side of the room. But now I would like to introduce you to a very special video that we'll be playing. This stars Tim Stanley, his family, and other dedicated members of the BCAN community.
For 20 years, BCAN has been at the forefront of bladder cancer education, support, research, and policy. At the core of all these efforts are patients and survivors. Here's the story of one of them.
I had wonderful parents. I'm blessed with an amazing family. I got lucky. And found teaching as a career. I walked into that classroom, and I think I got there at 7 in the morning and left at 8 at night, and I just fell in love with it, and I became a longtime elementary school teacher, then somehow ended up as a school principal, and I loved it. Part of who I am is I just love being outside. I got into backpacking a lot with my brother. I bike, I run. It's what I do every day. In my work, I met Melanie, my wife. I'm very blessed. Not only did I get her, but I have a wonderful, talented son, and I have a beautiful and amazing daughter. And now I'm a pawpaw. In August of 2022, I had blood in my urine, so immediately tried to figure out what was going on there. In January, I had a TURBT, turbot, to go in and see what was happening with stones in my kidneys, and there was one stone in my bladder. We had no thought that I had cancer. There was nothing. I just had stones. I woke up after that, and the urologist surgeon said that actually I had a tumor in my bladder, and he got it. So about 6 or 8 weeks later, they go back in to take a look. He didn't get it all. So that was a unbelievable shock to us, honestly, that I had cancer. And we decided to get a second opinion. He gave us a very different read. We had a high-grade, aggressive CIS cancer that was dangerous. He said, Gemdosi is a viable option for you, which is another installation they put into your bladder, another drug, and then radical cystectomy was another option. It was chaos for us when it all of a sudden became this dangerous cancer that could spread throughout my body. We did what I think a lot of people do. We started talking with people, talking to each other, listened to BCAN podcasts, looking at the BCAN website.
It just felt so overwhelming. How do we even make this decision? My dad called me and he said, I have a podcast I want you to listen to. I think that might help formulate some questions, just give us some more info. So he sent me a podcast from BCAN. And it really, I think, helped us all, my mom included, my brother included, kind of see this light at the end of the tunnel of there is more support out there. There is actually more information. And we felt so held, so supported, and really like we had even more options now to consider.
So I went to the BCAN website, to stories, and found guys about my age who were active and read their stories, which gave a lot of hope. They were living life and doing things after chemotherapy and even after the surgery. Then through BCAN, I got hooked up with this guy, Doug Capiella. He had done so much processing of what he went through. He gave me spreadsheets on, what to expect after the surgery, how to prepare for the surgery. This guy was just so amazingly committed to providing me all the support possible.
I don't think a week goes by, even a year later, when I don't hear from Tim. Tim tells me what he's up to, I tell him what I'm up to, and we've really grown together as friends. And that's really the beauty of the Survivor to Survivor program. It's mutual.
He, again, was a lifesaver and now is a friend. My wife has walked every step of this journey. The demons come out sometimes when you face this type of challenge, this hurdle in life. And we shared the demons and we held each other. Our daughter, anytime there was a critical point, she's come. She'll never know what she's meant to us. When I went to the hospital for the surgery, our son from California dropped everything, just got on the airplane and came. He's just there. Somewhere along the process of all of this, a friend had said, Tim, what do you want? And I said, well, I want to sit on the porch in the rocking chair with my wife and talk about our kids and the grandkids. So there it was, the radical cystectomy. But now in hindsight, do I wish I still had my bladder? Yep. Would I make the same decision now? Yeah. My wife came up with a slogan that's now really a mantra. She said, we are strong, we are positive, and we're together.
And we still go by that little slogan, we are strong, we are positive, we are together. and we include our children and grandchildren in that. And if I were to give anyone advice again, I would say, hold on to your spouse. Hold on, hold hands during that journey and be there for each other. That's what's so critical. Be there.
The surgery was in September, and there was a 50-mile race in April that I kind of had hoped to run. I made a deal with my wife that I could start, but that I would only go, I think it was 16 miles. So I started, and when I got to mile 16, I said, come on, let me go a little farther. So I made it to 22. The point is the goal. Just keep moving forward. You don't know what's going to happen. If you're going to get there, I have to set that goal and keep going.
This is Tim's story. But there are thousands of other patients who are also eternally grateful to Beacon.
Beacon means so much to me because they provide so much hope and support to bladder cancer patients and their families.
Anybody at Beacon that I work with, and I work with quite a few of the staff people, and I'm blessed to be able to do that, and I want them to know that they were and are my lifeline.
Are extremely grateful to Beacon for everything they've done for us, for how they support research, and how we can, and also for the volunteer opportunities that we have to give back.
There's a lot for everyone to be proud of and to reflect on how far this organization has come and what they've achieved in their first 20 years. And I can only imagine what the next 20 are going to hold.
We're going to beat this, guys. We're going to beat it.
Well, we are so blessed to hear Tim's story, and it's an honor to have him in the audience here tonight. So, Tim, please stand up. Thank you to Tim and his family for sharing your story and for being here tonight. I would like to now introduce Diane back up to the stage here, Beacon's co-founder.
Okay. 20 years. Wow. Sometimes that's really difficult for me to fathom. 20 years. Wow. I'm waiting for a photo to come up. And waiting. There it is. There it is. And this is how it all got started. John Qualley was initially diagnosed with bladder cancer in May of 2000. He was 53 years old, a loving father, husband, and friend, a generous mentor, a brilliant and highly respected attorney, an avid runner, cyclist, and sailor, someone who loved to drive with the top down and the music loud. Like so many of you here, before John's diagnosis, we had never heard of bladder cancer. There was little information available to us. And once we started researching, we were surprised to learn that bladder cancer is quite common. But we were shocked to learn that very little research was being done in the bladder cancer field, and there'd been no new treatments for more than 20 years. Over the next 5 years, as John's disease progressed, we became increasingly frustrated about the lack of public awareness about bladder cancer, the lack of information for patients and their families, and most significantly, the lack of funding for research in the field and the resulting lack of treatment options. It seemed like every day we would read about advances in breast cancer, colon cancer, prostate cancer, lung cancer. But bladder cancer was the elephant in the room, the one cancer no one wanted to talk about in public. So, my friends, truth be told, this wonderful, warm, loving, inviting, inclusive Beacon community arose out of anger. For those of you old enough to remember the 1976 movie Network with Peter Finch, John and I launched Beacon because we were mad as hell and we weren't going to take it anymore. We knew that it would take the voice of patients and their families to make a change. So in May 2005, we set about to do just that. Lucky for us, there were many others who were anxious to step up and help. We started with John's doctor, Mark Schoenberg, who was then at Johns Hopkins. We reached out to Mark and told him, we're thinking about starting a patient advocacy organization for bladder cancer. And his immediate response was, we must do this, and we must do this now. So a few weeks later, at the annual meeting of the American Urological Association in San Antonio, Mark invited other bladder cancer doctors to come meet John and me, and those invitees brought along others, and it was standing room only. John and I described our plans to start Beacon to raise public awareness about bladder cancer, provide support and education for patients and families, and to advance research. Mark asked who would be willing to join our scientific advisory board, and all hands were raised. Our invaluable partnership with the medical community began, and I'm really honored that we have a couple of those initial members of our scientific advisory board with us tonight, Dr. Mark Soloway and Dr. Cheryl Lee. Our next task was to register as a nonprofit entity, a 501c3 organization. We were lucky to have the team at John's law firm, Skadden Arps, handle those details for us on a pro bono basis, led by the wonderful Jared Scher, who is now the chair of Beacon's board of directors. While we were waiting for the legal steps to be finalized, John and I reached out to friends and family to provide the initial seed money for Beacon. We had a generous response, allowing us to get our first website launched in August of 2005. With the website, as well as the members of our scientific advisory board spreading the word, like Gary Steinberg introducing Patty Screeden to me, we were able to reach bladder cancer patients and their families all across the United States. We began to develop our amazing Beacon patient volunteer advocate community, starting with a team of volunteers to help draft content for our website, along with a monthly newsletter, and to attend public health fairs and medical meetings in their communities to raise awareness about bladder cancer and about Beacon. And once again, we are lucky to have a couple of those critical initial volunteers here with us tonight, Bob Lipman and Karen Godfrey. If you could please stand. In August of 2006, Mark Schoenberg invited about 35 people, medical professionals, as well as patient advocates, to the first bladder cancer think tank, where we were directed to think outside the box and to come up with new ideas and collaborations to advance bladder cancer research. John spoke of his bladder cancer journey during that meeting, reminding the doctors of the personal impact of the disease and that the patient should be at the center of every conversation and every treatment decision made. That remains one of Beacon's essential foundations. In August of 2008, just 2 months after John died, members of the Scientific Advisory Board created the John Qualley Travel Fellowship Awards. to encourage junior investigators to attend the think tank and pursue a career in bladder cancer research. The program has been amazingly successful in attracting the best and the brightest. To date, there have been 86 John Qualley Fellows, many of whom are now leaders in the field. And we actually have 3 of these fellows in the audience: Armeen Smith, Seema Porton, and Max Cates. In 2009, Beacon made its first bladder cancer research grant of $25,000. To date, we've invested more than $11 million in funding Young Investigator Awards, Innovation Awards, Career Development Awards, along with the Collaborative Genomics Project and our Translational Clinical Trial Awards. More than a funder, Beacon has been a catalyst for collaboration and career development. The field of bladder cancer research has truly exploded over the past 10 years, with new and more effective treatments available for patients all along the bladder cancer spectrum and ongoing clinical trials. It's such an exciting time, and the change from 20 years ago is truly incredible. I want to thank our partners in the pharmaceutical and biotech industries and the entire medical community for continuing their efforts to improve the lives of patients and their families. While advancing research was the impetus for creating Beacon, John and I also recognized how important it is for patients and families to be informed about their disease and take a proactive role in their treatment decisions. In November 2008, thanks to Dr. Mark Soloway and his wife Cindy, Beacon published the first edition of Bladder Cancer Basics for the Newly Diagnosed, now in its maybe 5th or 6th iteration. It's been an incredibly invaluable tool and has provided the foundation for Beacon's bladder cancer education program. As we saw with Tim's video just a few minutes ago, with our amazing website, webinars, podcasts, and survivor-to-survivor programs, patients and their families have the resources and connections to help them in every step of their journey. John and I didn't have a specific vision for Beacon in 2005. We just knew that we needed to find the vehicle to improve the lives not only of our family, but of the tens of thousands of others who are impacted by bladder cancer every year. I am ever grateful to so many of you here tonight for your early support as donors, board members, advisors, volunteers, and friends. While John and I had the aha moment, every person in this room has contributed to the success and sustainability of Beacon. I know John would share my pride in the community we have created and in the impact we have made over the past 20 years. And I know he would share my excitement in the strides we will continue to make in the coming years. Thank you so much. Thank you all. Thank you all. And now it is my great honor and incredible joy to introduce the chair of Beacon's Board of Directors, Jared Scher.
I really don't think it's fair to ask me to follow that, but I will try. I just want to say I am so honored to be up here, and I join Diane and the entire board in thanking you all for being here, but more than that, for being part of this community. This is a truly special evening for Beacon, and it is really my privilege to share a small part in it. But how can I start any place other than by acknowledging Diane for her vision, her leadership, and her dedication to this amazing organization. She and John founded Beacon together with the help of many of you, but Beacon's growth, its accomplishments, and its impact on the bladder cancer community is truly a testament to Diane's perseverance. To have founded Beacon is one thing. To have dedicated 20 years of your life to this mission is nothing short of amazing, and I salute you, Diane. I also want to take my moment to reflect about John. You know, Diane said that Beacon was born out of anger, and maybe so. But if it was born of anger, it was nurtured by generosity. Generosity of time, of money, certainly, but more than that, generosity of spirit, which is how I always remember John. He was generous to me and to so many others with his time, his nurturing personality, his mentorship that fused into friendship, and of course, with his brilliance, which he always managed to share with us without ever being arrogant. And alongside his generosity, I will always remember his gregarious laugh. Some of you probably remember it too. I can still hear it in my head, and when I close my eyes, I see his great smile alongside it. The picture was amazing representation of that, but I see it every day. My connection to Beacon started with John, and it is a thread that carries through to this day. As Diane said, several of us at SCADN helped handle the legal formalities when she and John founded Beacon. Some of you are here at my table. I was still a relatively young lawyer back then. I was working at a big firm that I was lucky to have allow pro bono hours to count, toward your requirements. So if I'm being honest, I suspect at least part of my initial agreement to volunteer was because I needed the hours on my record. But it quickly became obvious to me how important Beacon was to John and Diane, and how it wasn't something to just do in the moment around their kitchen table. They had a vision for an organization that would stand the test of time and, as Diane said, help tens of thousands of families. They were driven by an urgency that demanded action to give a voice to the bladder cancer community at long last. The success that Beacon has had these last 20 years transcends the early friends and family work that helped Beacon get on its feet. And today, a field once neglected is now dynamic with new treatments, new trials, and new breakthroughs offering hope to patients worldwide, and with support for patients and caregivers to know that they are not alone in their journeys. That tremendous progress is thanks to everyone in this room and to Beacon's partners across the country, and so I thank all of you as well. Beacon's strength has always stemmed from this incredible community of patients, caregivers, researchers, clinicians, and supporters, each contributing to a shared purpose and a lasting impact. You should all be proud to have contributed to this strength and to have helped lay a foundation for the next 2 decades of progress. Given how far we've come, imagine what Beacon can accomplish if we continue to unite science, advocacy, and compassion. And so I hope you will join me in celebrating everything we've accomplished together, but also join me in rededicating ourselves to the mission and to carrying forward Diane's and John's vision to create better todays and more tomorrows for everyone impacted by bladder cancer. Thank you. And now it's my pleasure to make one last introduction to Beacon's Chief Executive Officer, Mary Margaret Diotis.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Jared. It's such a pleasure to be here, seeing so many familiar faces, meeting so many new folks today. I'm truly honored. Although I didn't know John, Diane, you brought him into the room. I'm honored to be a part of this. I am really in awe and deeply moved by the passion, the compassion, and the determination of all of you, all that we have built. And I say that because I've been here 10 months, so I really need to recognize my former CEO, Andrea Maddox-Smith, who has created this amazing organization alongside Diane. I was joking with Andrea earlier that she was like, yeah, let's do that 20th anniversary thing after the board meeting. That's a really good idea on the same day, no problem. And then she was like, I'm out of here, I'm retiring. But this is a testament truly to Andrea's leadership, the strength that she has built, the people in this room. I just want to say it's been such a pleasure. I can't fill those shoes, but I'm just honored to have your support and be able to lead this organization after you. So thank you for that. And we made it, Andrea, right? It's a good party. We made it through the board meeting, so we're in a good place. So the other thing I really have remarked on so many times, and those of you guys who have been to the summit and think tank, I'm sorry, because I repeat myself, but I think this is really important. One of the most important and powerful things about BCAN is, as Diane said, this community that has been built. This morning we were going through a strategic planning exercise with another member of the community, Eric, and we were talking about what it takes to move an organization and create a movement. And one of the things that came out of that discussion was this idea of circularity and paying it forward. And I've worked for many different patient organizations. I've been blessed to have a great career in nonprofit. And I'm telling you, this community is really special. The survivor-to-survivor piece, the work that we do to support each other, the bringing together of the community is really touching, and I'm really honored to be able to lead us to the next. I want to just say, maybe not 20 years, let's say 10. Let's get busy. I'm from New York. Let's get busy and get this done. So it has become a movement. Thank you, Diane, for creating this. And as Jared said, right, it's built on connection, courage, and compassion, but 20 years is a long time to really dedicate so much of your treasure and your expertise and your commitment to this organization. One of the great things about being here is, I've had the opportunity to see, as Jared mentioned, we are a community of patients and caregivers who are so authentic and courageous in sharing their personal journeys into stories about how to help one another, how to lift each other up, how to share a spreadsheet. Doug, we were laughing, Jamie and I were laughing because we can see you have spreadsheets. So if anyone needs one, Doug can help you out. Clinicians and researchers that are passionate about developing better treatments. This would be another area I really feel, and I'm looking to some of my friends over at my table. This is really an opportunity where you see the passion that researchers and clinicians have for patients. Going to the Seattle Walk is a great example of that community coming together, again, unlike other communities. And I think that's the connection, and that's the spirit of collaboration for which Diane and John started and built this community. There are so many volunteers and board members who give their time and talent. We're super grateful. We have great leadership on all fronts. We also, as mentioned, have an amazing group of corporate partners. We mentioned and recognized a few of those earlier. Thank you for that, Lauren. But there's also a couple others. So we have Merck and Urigen, J&J, CG Oncology, Immunity Bio, Photocure, and Lilly, and also Pfizer, Astellas Partnership, and our Faring Friends. So I want to just recognize them yet again because they've really helped us accelerate the work that we've done. Andrea has really been intentional about building out that commitment to bringing patient advocacy into pharmaceuticals and vice versa, and I think it's really, really made a difference. So, and last but certainly not least, our community is built from an amazing group of staff. I'm honored to lead them and to work with them alongside them. We're growing, which is really exciting, as was mentioned earlier, and it's been a privilege to get to know them. They're super passionate, super smart, and super committed to the mission. So we're here to help and serve, and look forward to, if you haven't met us, we hope we'll meet tonight and continue our journey together. Together, all of us as this community embody our vision, better todays and more tomorrows for everyone impacted by bladder cancer. And a really, really important representation of that generosity of time, talent, commitment, and financial support is generous, a new fund set up by Drew and Sally Qualley to support our work moving forward. I'm really, really excited that they have made a generous donation to the organization to support research and patient support of $250,000. A big gift for our organization. Thank you. And they are challenging us to match that money through other donors, and they will match again. So there's a significant opportunity for us to really jumpstart the next 10 years, not 20, right, with really filling those gaps that we need from the research and patient support side. So we want to say thank you to them, and really will help us accelerate and make some of those opportunities that we see just coming out of think tank, coming out of patient summits. What do we need to do to continue to respond to the needs of our community right away? I think that's one of the differences that Beacon has made, is we are nimble and we are responding to filling those gaps in real time. So this is a really great opportunity for us to continue that work. So this celebration is definitely about the retrospective and the kitchen table. By the way, I actually live around the corner from where Diane and John used to live. It's such a small world. What's going to happen in these next 10 years or 20 years? What excites me most is Beacon's opportunity to continue to grow. We are expanding our local chapters so that we can meet people where they are, get to know them in the community, leverage those community urology settings, connect them to our walks, make sure that they understand they are not walking this journey alone. That's going to be a pivotal part of how we deliver our services and our patient support as we move forward. We are increasing our participation in the walks to end bladder cancer. Again, for some folks, this is the first time they're exposed to Beacon. They come to this walk and they see these people in these orange shirts. Thank you all for wearing some of them tonight in true spirit of supporting the walk. But it really shows the awareness, the remembrance, and the hope that we're bringing to our communities. And we're really serious, as Diane mentioned, right? We have the John Qualley Fellows. We have a really long record of investing in young researchers, and we're going to continue to do that. We want to make sure that we're really impacting the research community through advocates, researchers, and leaders who continue to do the research and change the landscape and change that prognosis for our patients and their families. So every one of you has helped Beacon make it is what today, right? We're a force to be reckoned with. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for giving me the privilege and the opportunity to stand alongside you and help take us to where we are going to go in that next 10 years, let's call it. Together, we can continue to build those better todays and more tomorrows for everyone touched by bladder cancer. Our promise to unite people and ignite hope is because of all of you. And I'm super, super grateful for that support. I was going to end with a quote, but I'm going to change it up, Mark. Don't get mad. But I'm going to use the Stanley family's quote. I hope that's okay. We are strong, we are positive, and we are together.
Thank you, Mary Margaret. Well, after all, this is a celebration, so I'm so excited to introduce to you our entertainment for the evening. Grammy Award-winning artist Randy Scott, son of longtime Beacon patient advocate Jim Scott. Randy is a Grammy-winning saxophonist, composer, and producer signed to Trippin' and Rhythm Records with 5 consecutive Billboard #1 singles and multiple gold and platinum awards. Named Breakout Artist of the Year in 2024, he released his 8th solo album, Oasis, that same year. He has collaborated with artists like Kirk Franklin and Fred Hammond, and his music is featured on the Randy Scott channel across major streaming platforms. So super excited to have Randy here tonight with us. You can enjoy dessert and coffee while he's performing. So Randy, take it away.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. My name is Randy Scott. It has been a true pleasure and an honor. God bless you.
Okay, let's give it up again for Randy Scott for bringing such joy and energy to this wonderful evening. If you've been inspired by the energy and the spirit in this room tonight, you'll love being part of a walk to end bladder cancer. If you're not involved already, those are next spring, April and May of 2026. Get your friends, form a team. There's walks going on in every city all over the country, so it's really special if you want to be part of that. To sign up, you can visit bcanwalk.org, and every step we take brings us closer to better todays and brighter tomorrows for bladder cancer patients and the people who love them. So I want to give one final thank you to our incredible BCAN family, the patients, survivors, caregivers, doctors, researchers, corporate partners, past and present employees, walkers, individual donors, volunteers, and friends who make this community so strong. It's been an honor for me to be here with you tonight, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Thank you.